Water, it's an important element, you know. We spend a lot of times in the water when we're out hunting or out in the land. We travel with it, drink, eat, hunt, practice our cultures around water, you know. It's important to keep that safe, you know.
We drink that every day. It's really important to keep it clean.
Like it cleanses us, and the power of the movement of it makes you powerful in a way that you don't realize, you know?
It's life-giving. It's like we need it. It's this precious resource that we're taking for granted. Like we have such an abundance of it, but if we have no water, then there's no water, there's no us.
So you pass on that knowledge and you bring people together for like a great cause, you know, like it's, like I said, water is very important to us, our livelihood.
Young people to get more involved in like studying like water, studying and research, doing research.
Today we're at the water treatment plant and we're gonna get a tour.
Doing participatory research, so research with groups. We're learning about how to better care for water by bringing together different perspectives and different knowledge systems.
Throughout the summer, we've been learning about water in and around the community. And we're here in Australia to learn about water as well.
Bye, guys.
From Wemindji, there was snow. There was a bit of snow, and as you can see here, there's absolutely none. We came here for water research and water activities. My first day, it was unreal. It was like something straight out of a movie. And I walked out and I started seeing Uncle Moogie and his dance group. They were performing, welcoming us to the country.
You look at all of us around the world. We're connected through song, we're connected to dance, and we're connected to the earth.
I am here to see the world and learn the difference between cultures and water, and how important water is.
We had a group of 9 youth from Wemindji come to Australia, where we were very honored to spend a lot of time with many amazing people and water bodies there, and learn about the differences and the similarities between water and culture here at home and on the other side of the planet.
Australia was also colonized by the British, as Canada was colonized by the British, and so even that is similar.
Next day we traveled to Finler's Ranges, where it's about a 7-hour drive north, and yeah, we were welcomed with opening arms.
We went on a hike and saw like carvings.
This is a sea creature of some kind, maybe a starfish with long tentacles. That there is a turtle.
It was amazing to see the etchings that Uncle Sharpie showed us.
This is like 75,000 years old. Somebody, like a human being from 75,000 years ago was the one that carved this.
It was very dry. They barely had any water.
Right here, you see, this used to be a river.
With water in it.
With water.
Lots and lots of
Lots of water.
The water comes when it rains, yeah, which we never had for a long time. The last rains were 2013. The average rainfall is only about 6 to 10 inches each year. And sometimes we don't get that. We have to wait for maybe another 10 or 20 years before we can get it again. When it rains here, it makes you cry.
Water is like a part of us.
I guess I took water for granted and I didn't realize how important it was. The rivers, we were walking on the bed of it and it was just all dry.
And the waters of our land are like a human body, you know. We all, the blood that runs through our vein, we predominantly water. When I put this on you, I'm going to do it so that it sort of connects you spiritually to Mother Earth. So from this moment onwards, you can call on the spiritual guidance and support of Mother Earth. And we are one family because we all got the one mother, Mother Earth.
Uncle Terry and Uncle Sharpie really reminded me of my grandpa and how my grandpa cares for the land and they cared for their land. You know, made me feel at home.
Magay, bajib mshkanot nabi da sawan matsionan nabi. Watchman koik, watchman nodi soik, kianji, washishits na that's planu or cans and sanya that's. I go abstagana nabi. I go maud ni stamta that's stasna nabi.
When we would sit around the campfire and just tell stories, and they would sing some songs, and we would dance to the song that they always dance to.
Oh, my water, it's rumbling, it's tumbling. Oh, my water, it's rumbling like a big bass drum. If I saw a wallaby or a great big juicy witchy, cook them up just for me and go to sleep under a big gum tree and say, oh, my water, it's rumbling, it's tumbling. Oh, my water, it's rumbling like a big bass drum. I'm dreaming, I'm dreaming, I'm dreaming.
We see you. Knocking on my, very good. Knocking on my, doing well. The waters.
It was very powerful to bring the Ngarrindjeri and Cree nations together. It was an important meeting and gathering to take place because it brought two nations together. We had an exchange of knowledge and skills, and even though we have this space and separated across, the planet, we still had similarities and stories in common.
This is called canoe exhibition. This is done every year annually. Back then, our elders used to use the rivers as highways.
The elders used to tell stories of coming down, paddling down the Wolf Factory River from their trap line. I guess it would be in the 50s or 60s, the last time people came down.
There was our first ever Grand Chief was named Billy Diamond, and he had heard on the radio that a company was starting construction on one of our rivers.
The dams were going to be built anyway, but we kept fighting to say, no, we don't want the dams here, but they were going to be built anyway, so we made an agreement with them that they would give us a certain amount of money for them to build them anyway.
It's simply because of greed that's driven the water system to where it is. If they had their way, nothing would flow out through into the Coorong or through the mouth. It would simply be used.
The Western concept of water is completely different to what First Nation groups people would see the concept of water. Water is life. We all need water to survive, but our governments of the day see water as a commodity. It's set within a capitalistic measure. There is not a drop of water in this country that's actually allocated for First Nation groups people.
In our country, we have situations where rivers have actually run dry. When you affect one thing, it's a chain reaction. So if there's no water there, there's no fish, and it completely disrupts the whole system. There are so many locks and weirs and man-made constructions that stop the natural flow of the water. Traditionally, it was allowed to flow free.
On our trip, we learned a lot about the very, very heavy challenges that we're facing with water and humanity today. But we also made sure to take time to play with water and celebrate the beautiful force that it is and the life-giving essence and the energy that it provides us, and experiencing all the different ways of interacting with water.
Surfing was amazing. I got really tired after. There's a lot of salt water going into my nose and mouth, which was really disgusting, but it was fun.
I didn't know what I was doing, but I still had fun.
We were very lucky to have an experience camping in the Coorong that allowed us the chance to connect with the land and the local waters, and with each other as well, and particularly with friends from the Native Waters Network.
The Native Waters Network was born in Australia about a year ago through Waterlution, the Water Innovation Lab, to connect Indigenous communities from across the globe. My hope is that we really are able to create pathways into things like water policy, like where we can train youth into how does like a policy even get created, right? and to also create pathways for youth to reconnect to ceremony, connecting them to elders that can guide them through that process.
There are so many different ways of thinking and being around the globe that our best way of understanding the world and the water is to bring all these different thought processes together.
If we can get more of a balance through adding cultural values, we should get better outcomes for the environment and people.
Today we're at the Adelaide Desalination plant, which is obviously in short where we take water from the ocean and through a process it's turned into drinking water, clean, safe drinking water.
It just made me realize like how lucky I am to have clean running water that we can drink straight from the tap sometimes.
We're facing many challenges that are global, like the changing climates. Water agencies play an important role in making water clean and safe for the environment and for us to drink.
Water plays a massive part from, a woman carrying her child to birthing of a child to growing into a person versus even drinking water in order to live, but then, hygiene and even recreation. And if we want to continue to live alongside each other, we need to all be on the same page about sustaining and maintaining it as well.
One of the key things with colonisation and the effects that we still see now is that the loss of land wasn't just land that you could see, it also had significant water holes and wells.
We are caretakers of the lands and waters, and we have a responsibility to look after the area that we live in.
The government doesn't supply water to everybody. It sounds like a product rather than something that everybody needs.
When I grew up, water was free. Basically, water was supplied to your home. It was easy access to farmers. There was no thought of water being anything but a human right at that stage in our eyes. And over the next 20 years, we saw it become a commodity.
We need the water to drink. We need that because every one of us needs water in our body. Without water, you're dead.
Something that really strikes me is how different the countries are in terms of physical geography, with Canada having so much water and Australia having much less water, yet the social geographies are very similar in terms of colonization, and not only colonialism over people, but also colonialism over water.
The government and non-Aboriginal organisations need to sit down with the First Nations people of this country and discuss a sustainable way of living for future generations to come.
There is still a disconnect between that living relationship with water. It's a living organism, and we need to start truly incorporating that into our beliefs.
Education is about getting in touch with your inner self, and I guess that also brings in the responsibility that we have as individuals to our country, to our peoples, and to our communities.
For me, building relationship to water has literally been going to the water, sitting with the water, sitting in stillness, allowing myself to just observe it.
Water is very important to us here, like it is to you. Water is family. Water is us, and we are water. It's about life, our lives.
waters unite everything. And to get to scuba dive all together, it seemed just to unite the whole group together. We all had a chance to share that moment, which is so precious.
In many ways, humanity and water are both sick, but by focusing on the intimate relationships between humanity and water, we can look at healing that human-water relationship. And even more so, we can look at healing the relationships between people, especially interculturally, as we rally to care for water. And water, being the natural connector, can offer us that guidance and inspiration.
The ceremony that we did, sharing everything that has been going on this trip, you know, it's like a weight off my shoulders. You know, like when we offered the water to the ocean, you know, everything that was there on their shoulders, you know, was gone. All I have now is good memories.
We made an offering to the ocean, so we poured the sacred water back into a larger body of water. It was such a beautiful experience.
I feel like this trip connected me more to water, and I see water differently now. Like I appreciate it more.
I learned that First Nations people, not only from Canada but from Australia too, share the same values. One of them is knowing that we're connected to everything that has life.
And it is a right for every human being in the world to have an access to clean drinking potable water.
Water as an element is a connector. It's what connects all life and all life supporting systems, and it's what connects us specifically as human beings as well. That can offer inspiration to connect our knowledge systems as well in ways that complement each other rather than compete.
You become healers in a way. Heal this country. Heal your country. Look after the water. Then you look after yourselves. You look after the spirit.
Wemindji Australia atat EU kanasuj to Jamnan. Satan and Sajimubia Sajimugnoit Magian Nabi Such to Mouse Giba Agatachi Yagam Musquish Saji Knop Saji Knoitignotia.